Hello, everybody. It's Ryan from Pie Records, and I'm here with the Creature Preachers. How are you guys?
Good. How are you,
Good.
man?
Good.
Very good. Very good. I'm glad to be here talking to you. I've been listening to your music for the last couple of days, um, and I really enjoy it. Um, what 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 is your recent release theme? I saw it was Surf AD. Is that the Misfits inspired title?
It absolutely is. Yeah. So we're both big Misfits fans. That's actually my favorite band, and they're one of our big inspirations for doing spooky stuff. So we kind of that name kind of initially came from we had an idea to do a Misfits like cover EP of just surf versions of Misfits songs, and we were going to call it Surf AD, based on Earth AD, their album. But we ended up just using it as a song name because we liked it so much. So.
Oh, very cool. Um, so I wonder why. Maybe it's the horror aspect, but a lot of surf bands do Misfits covers.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think they translate so well?
Well, I think the structures of the songs are the same, because Misfit songs have that old school rock and roll kind of doo-wop structure and chords, and Surf has. I think they come from the same place, really. So I think Misfit songs easily translate. If you're going another kind of old style like surf rock, I think it's super easy. Just like same thing with the Ramones, they kind of get their structures and melodies from the same places. So I think it's very easy to translate those to surf.
I find a lot of punk rockers also also play surf. I know Sam from Down by Law has a surf band which we put out. Um,
Mhm.
uh, do you find that a lot of your contemporaries play punk rock that you mix well on like a multi genre bill?
I think so, and we kind of come from that background too, metal and and um, and when we were talking about doing shows, we were talking about opening up for punk bands. Like so, yeah, I think it's a great combination. I think if you like one, you kind of like the other. I think they mix well.
Yeah, yeah. So you have, what is it, four EPs?
We have two EPs and one single. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Did you guys put that out yourself? And how did you get hooked up with alternate state of reverb?
Yeah. So the two EPs we put out ourselves. We just put them on Bandcamp. And then so our second one, Halloween Hullabaloo, they came out October last year. And once that was out, we just kind of started shopping around, hitting up different labels. And when we hit up Josh from Alter State of Reverb, he was one of the first ones to like he respond really quickly, was really positive, and he asked, hey, I finally listened to your stuff, it's good. Do you guys plan on doing more music? And I was like, yeah, of course. We're just getting started with it. He's like, okay, well let's do a phone call. So we're like, oh shit, we weren't ready for that. So
Awesome, awesome. So the new single is kind of like a prelude to what's coming. Are you working on something specific right now?
Oh yeah. And matter of fact, that's one of our first songs that we came together as a unit. There are other songs off of our very first EP that are like a few years old, but Surf AD was our first like concerted effort, like laser focused. Here is our first, Creature Preacher song, essentially. So it's cool that we're getting to kind of re-released. We've got more attention, a bigger platform. So I like that we're putting out, now. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. I want to say we're allowed to talk about stuff, right?
yeah.
Okay, okay. So we've got a great cover of a song by Nothing More,
Screaming Lord
Screaming,
Such.
yeah, Screaming Lord Such, Jack the Ripper. So we did that song. We sang on it, and then we have our album that we're working on, and a few covers here and there peppered throughout the year that we're going to work on too.
Awesome.
Our seven.
So, are you doing a 7 inch?
Yeah, we have a split 7 inch with the Mysterics that's going to be coming out later this year too.
Oh, very cool. So you guys have really a full plate, and it's good to see you've been working during the quarantine. But that hasn't stopped you, right?
No, oh, no,
Oh
no, no.
no.
It's a good kind of busy. We try to, yeah, we're, we put out. I actually told you wrong. We have a couple of different singles. We back during Christmas we did "Waking the Krampus," which is a Krampus themed surf
Yeah.
song. Um, and then, like I said, we're working on or it's going to be our first full length album. We want to get that finished this year. Of course, the 7-inch, and then we're going to be on a compilation from Otitis Records.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, we try to stay busy. So
Those guys are great over at Titus. Noah, uh, he's got a really diverse and really solid roster. So you'll be in good company.
yeah, we're excited about it for sure.
So aside of the 7-inch, how do you plan on releasing the full length? Is that going to be a digital release? Are you going to be doing vinyl or CDs?
Ooh. I don't think we've talked too much about that.
Yeah.
It really, we've been just so focused on getting the work done. We haven't even really talked about, how we're going to start playing shows, because to date, we actually haven't played a show yet, strangely.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's mostly because, but as the vaccinations increase and as the warning and caution for being out kind of decreases, we're definitely going to play out. That's our main goal this year, is to have a solid set list, some folks to play with, and later in the year we'll get our album out.
And where in the country are you guys located?
We're in Georgia.
Georgia. So what are they opening up some venues to possibly play summer, fall?
There are some local places that are open right now. Like we have friends that are in bands that are still playing shows, which we don't want to do that yet. So we're hoping by summertime, summer, early fall, we're really hoping to kind of hit it hard with the live shows and stuff.
Very cool. I know there's some shows going on in the Carolinas and Florida. Minimal crowds, but at least there's shows at a safe distance outside.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how the band started, and tell me who you guys are, your names, and what instruments you play, and who your influences are.
Okay. So I'm Greg. He's Garrick. We're brothers. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No.
So yeah. So we've been playing music together for most of our lives. I got started first because I'm older, and we didn't have any other musicians in our family, so I kind of had to get started from scratch. And just me and some friends from school were kind of getting into it together. And a buddy of mine, his parents used to be like touring musicians, so he had all this equipment, and he could play music pretty much from the time he could walk. So he was kind of my hero, and so I taught myself how to. We both play guitar, bass, and drums. Like we do everything. All the music is just us. And so really it was grunge that really got me into music. Like really specifically Nirvana. When I first saw them, seeing their videos, and so my first instrument was drums, because Dave Grohl was just he was such a monster on drums that really inspired me. So that was my first instrument, and then from there I went to bass and then to guitar. And by the time I was doing that, Garrick was old enough. He kind of started picking that up, and I started showing him some stuff. And we were both in bands, did it for a while, didn't really take off. And then I joined the military, and we had sent stuff back and forth, stuff we'd been planning on doing when I got out. And then when I got out of the military, he joined the military. He was in for like 10 years. So, and he just got out with 2016. So like, this is really, since 2016 that we've been trying to get this going. And we've had before this band, we had a couple different bands that just, kind of fizzled out, didn't really work. And so it was finally this band that we decided, we're not going to let it die. We're going to take it seriously. We put serious money into it, serious time, bought all new equipment, new guitars, new amps, drums, just the whole thing. And and we finally decided, like I said, especially with the money aspect, I think that really made a difference. Like just the fact that we have, like a professional Bandcamp account and spending money on art, to make sure stuff looks good, which we've never really done that before. And it obviously made a difference, because people are listening. We're on a label now. So
Cool. Um, were the other bands you played in before, were they all surf bands and you just come to refine your sound?
Oh no, like for us, we have really kind of full spectrum. So Greg was in an industrial band. We both played together in an indie band. I played drums in a country band for about 6 months.
it's a dark time.
It was bad. It's bad times, guys. What else? Metal.
Yeah, we've been in metal, punk
Oh my
bands,
God.
all
And
kinds of
we
stuff.
tried to have like a really heavy sludge metal band because we're just excited to play together. There's a secret sauce between us that no matter what we do, it's pretty impressive. And I think what we figured out was, there might be a flaky drummer here and there, or we might not connect well with the bass player, or, whoever is in the band, other than the two of us, we just can't click in the way that we click together. So we were like, all right, screw this. It's just going to be us. It was going to be, kind of a purpose built, like we're going to build each song in like the garage, guitar and drums, and then we'll kind of build it, and make really good music, which we've been able to do with this. So I'm surprised that it was surf rock, the one that clicked for us. I thought it was going to be metal or something.
Yeah, awesome. I'm wondering when you play, when you are gonna play out, are you gonna look for some specific drummer or whoever fits the bill on any instrument?
Well, and that's what we initially were going to do. We know enough people that play music that we could do that. And we've talked to a few other people about auditioning and stuff. But recently, when we were on the Surf Guitar Happy Hour, Matt Heaton from the Electric Heaters, he does the Surf Guitar Happy Hour on Instagram. And the way we did it was just us, and we had backing tracks, just bass and drum tracks. And we played guitar to those tracks, and it worked well. And we were like, well, we could just do that, which is basically what I used to do. The industrial band I was in, we did the same thing. It was just me and one other guy. I played bass, he played guitar, and we had a laptop for all of our, drums and samples and stuff like that. So it would be doable, and we thought about that. It would be kind of nice and convenient, if it was just us.
Yeah. Something that first struck me. You're the first band that both of you were in the military that I'm interviewing, and I'm wondering if that discipline is transferred over to the way you approach the band.
I think, not so much the discipline, but the years of talking about being in a band. Because he joined in 2002,
Yep.
I joined in 2006. So there was basically not really any time for us to figure out what we're going to do after the military. I think in hindsight, probably should have gone to college, probably should have just waited for this dude to come back, and we would have hit hard. But, life happens. I joined, and I got married, had kids, and he had families. Just kind of we became adults, and the entire time we were talking about how our band's going to go. We had song ideas, recordings, full ideas for albums that we would basically do just through email, right? And then in the beginning of, I guess, 2016 is like, all right, hit the ground running, and that didn't last as long as we wanted it to. There are some elements that just didn't, work out. But obviously, we continued to play. So it was a real relief to find a project that felt right and worked, that's
Good. So you worked pretty hard from 2016, I'm guessing, to now, and you guys, in the last couple of years, you put out a lot of stuff. Is that your goal? Is just to kind of get as much stuff out there as you can? Quality work, of course, but enough that people start to recognize that, hey, you're serious about this.
Yeah, what is it? It's kind of like funny that we're like, mid 30s, close to 40 in our age range, but we're still young whippersnappers in the surf game. And I want to kind of replicate the album and release pacing of like the 60s groups, like the Rolling Stones. Like they had a release every 6 or 8 months. Maybe it was an album, like a 7-inch singles or whatever. But I want to stay busy. I want to stay current. There are bands out there who are huge, and they might put an album out every 8 years, like in the surf rock, kind of genre. So I want to say, in terms of content, getting stuff out there, I want to blow them out of the water.
Awesome. I always think that's a good way to approach it if you have the time and the resources, of course. So what are some of your influences when it comes to surf? I mean, you described a lot of different music styles, and I can hear, especially the horror aspect, which might come from the industrial background. What inspired your surf writing when you write the music?
Well, surf specifically, definitely the Ghastly Ones. That's my favorite surf band. The Ventures. I think if you have those two, like if you got the Ventures and the Ghastly Ones, you don't really need any other surf band. That's probably blasphemous to say, but that's how I feel. Like, so my first time really being exposed to surf was when I saw Pulp Fiction back when it came out back in '94. And before that, the only thing I knew about surf music was the Beach Boys. I thought that was surf music, was the Beach Boys. There wasn't really anything else. And so when I heard, that opening riff of Miserlou in the beginning of, Pulp Fiction, I couldn't wrap my head around it. It was so just insane. And so, and our mom is one that really hipped us to surf. She's like, yeah, that's surf rock. I'm like, I don't know what that is. What is that? So we went and got, I bought that soundtrack, the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, ate it up. And then our mom got me a Ventures Greatest Hits, wore that out. And so, but even before I knew that spooky surf was a thing, like surf always had kind of a haunted quality to it, with the reverb and the minor chords and, all the little whammy bar bends and all that. So I always wanted spooky surf. It didn't know it really existed. And then when I discovered the Ghastly Ones, it was a couple of years after that, because we followed, we were White Zombie fans. And when Rob Zombie started his label, Zombie A Go-Go, one of the first bands he signed was the Ghastly Ones. So I became aware of them and then just immediately completely got obsessed with them. So, and then right around that same time, I got into the Misfits when they became my favorite band. So I've, always loved spooky stuff, and spooky music has always been my favorite. I've always wanted to do it. So when we decided to do surf, we were like, yes, it's got to be spooky.
And I think another aspect of it is what guitar techniques we bring to the table. So we both come from a metal background, punk background. So we're informed by, just brutality on guitar. So for us, it's always distorted. We have to remind ourselves, no, this isn't a metal song. But Greg is definitely a speed metal guy. His picking is super light speed, and I'm more of like a chord player. Like I spent a long time playing acoustic guitar, so I really tried to find the weird chords and would exploit the fact that I can, I'll play the same chords, but I'll do the weirdest versions of it.
He likes to play chords that I have a hard time playing. That's his favorite.
So, and for me, I like Joey Santiago's playing from the Pixies.
Oh yeah,
he's a weird guitar player. All his stuff is just genius. So at any point, I want to rip him off as much as I can. So that's where I'm coming from.
It's funny you mentioned the Pixies. A lot of surf bands, although Pixies have surf elements, a lot of surf bands are influenced by the Pixies. Do you think that there's something to that? Maybe Black Francis is playing aside of Joey Santiago?
Absolutely. There's a documentary. They have two documentaries. One is Loud, Quiet, Loud, or is it Quiet?
Loud, Quiet, Loud.
Loud, Quiet, Loud. And there's another one that came before it, where they talked a little bit about how Joey and Frank Black were kind of like playing together in college. And they were talking about how they would start with just kind of like a surf type song. And then they said, oh, then the weird part, or then the creepy part. I'm like, yes. Because if you like Javelina or Anna, they have this part in both those songs where it goes from happy to weird.
Yeah, it gets really uncomfortable.
And it's like,
in the middle of the song.
They know how to move the emotions of a song where it can be powerful, it can be vulnerable, it can be really strange. But I think that dynamic of two guitar players writing a song, kind of writing that story together, it's perfect for the Pixies. And I think that really informs a lot of their music.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Pixies. They're one of my favorite bands. Um, so where I noticed you play clips in your songs. You want to talk about how you choose those audio clips?
Yeah.
One was
Well, you
perfect.
know what's funny? The our first EP, Horror Hymns Volume 1, it starts off with kind of a clip of a preacher giving a sermon. And where that came from actually is when we were recording that EP, I think it was,
Man.
yeah, Garrick's amp just picked up a radio signal and it was that guy talking. So I
Oh,
was like, oh, hold on,
awesome.
let me, so I grabbed my phone. I grabbed my phone and record. I'm like, we got to keep this. This is so great. So yeah, that literally was like summoned by the amp. So
I used to have this Fender Bassman amp that used to pick up all sorts of stuff. Uh, of course, we didn't have phones back then to record, but we just stop and listen to whatever was playing. Usually, it was some local radio station or something. So, where do you guys go from here?
well, like the biggest thing we want to get done this year is the full length. That's really, and we're and mentally we're really trying to think, okay, we want it to be thematically very homogenous. We want to really, like, we want the artwork to tell you exactly what you're going to hear, just by looking at it. And we want every song to feel like it's part of a whole, not a concept album necessarily, but we want it to feel that homogenous, one solid piece that you have to listen to the whole thing. And so I think that's kind of the goal right now, is to go through kind of our back catalog of songs and to like, okay, these definitely belong together. Let's kind of tell this story, So that's the hardest thing right now, I think.
I want to talk a little bit about your vocals.
Okay.
Um, uh, how often? Because I didn't get a chance to hear the song with the vocals. How many do you do, and how do you choose what songs to put vocals to?
Well, it's kind of new for us. So over time, we're both singers. Greg's a great screamer. I think I'm a mediocre singer, but we try our best. We sang in Jack the Ripper, which comes out later this month.
Yeah, March 26th, Jack the River comes
So
out.
you'll be able to hear it then. There's other songs that we definitely know we want to sing, and I think we want to wait to see how well received Jack the Ripper is.
Yeah,
If
we'll
people
go
hate it,
on that.
we're not going to we're not going to lead on that foot. But prior to this band, we were a singing band.
Mhm.
That was kind of like one of those things. Well, hell, you're in a band. Who's the singer? So when I tell folks I'm in a surf rock band, they're like, "Oh, how do you guys sing the Beach Boys with just the two of you?" I'm like, "Okay, listen." But yeah, we definitely want to explore that. But I think there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to be a really great surf band just on the surface. And I think it's extra credit that we have maybe a couple of singing singles,
Yeah.
but I don't want to make that our primary thing.
No, yeah, we definitely want to do a couple of covers, stuff like that, with vocals. We have an idea of doing a version of Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus, which is obviously going to include vocals, but we're going to do it in a very specific kind of way. So with stuff like that, yeah. But as far as original stuff, I mean, we'll probably have like, a couple of little moments of group vocals, some shoutings, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we want to stay instro.
So that's very cool. I think vocals give, like you said, not primary, but when you have it in there, it's got a little unique, special element to it. So it's kind of interesting because you don't hear a lot of vocals over surf, but when you do, it kind of just it kind of adds a little something. So, where can people find your music, and where can people get in contact with you?
I mean, we're on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Bandcamp. The Ultra State of Reverb website, we have a page on there. People can hit us up on any of the social medias, our email, thecreaturepreachers@gmail.com, which, we love hearing from people. We love talking to people. So
cool. How has the response been to your latest single?
So far, nothing but positive. I think the fact that it was mastered by Dave Klein of the Ghastly Ones, so like that was
Oh,
huge for us.
Yeah, it was wild. Like we got to talk on the phone with that guy.
Yeah,
And it was
having
just,
a phone conversation with
oh
Dave
my
Klein,
God. Like growing up listening to their music, and he's in California, we're in Georgia, and he was like, "Hey man, how's the weather down there, buddy?" And he was just so nice and so cool.
Yeah,
And we just give us
nicest
advice
dude.
and stuff.
So that's definitely helped blow it up, and he's been super cool about promoting it too. So
oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
It's always a good thing when somebody goes out of their way to help, just out of the goodness of their heart.
yeah.
So
And that's the coolest thing about this community.
I'm sorry. Well, I cut you off. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, I was just gonna add that that's like the best part of the surf community is that it's like very close knit. It's like small and tight, and it's everybody knows everybody. So I never feel like we're too far away from reaching out to one of our heroes.
Yeah, everyone's been super cool and supportive. That's been really awesome.
Yeah, that's one thing I've come to notice, that not only is it inclusive, but it's encouraged to be a part of the community.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I know it wasn't too early, but still, it's in the middle of the day, and I know you guys have stuff going on, and I can't wait to hear more from you.
Well, thank you, man.
Thanks
It's
for having
been a
us.
pleasure.
Okay, have a good day, guys.
All right,
you
you
too.
too.